With every show, we always try to visit one of my few childhood homes. And after all the talk about my Iban blood, we're finally flying back to Sarawak. But before we go to Betong, we made a pit stop at the heart of Kuching's very own Chinatown. We spent some time at Beds, which was an extremely cozy guest house. Now, entering this place was like stepping into a friend's house. Even the people that greeted us like long-lost pals. So we lounged around for a bit while confirming our plans for this trip. Then we left with our guide named David Daniel, who is of the Lun Bawang heritage. Looking around, I found like everyone had a four-wheel drive, and he drove us to Kampung Danu, a Budayu village that's about 1.5 hours away from Kuching.
To the river! To the river! To the river! A little bit tired at the moment. It was quite a long journey, but we've reached where we need to be, and tomorrow morning we've got a really early call, and we're going to hit that river like nobody's business. We're going to row to our little hearts collapse.
Now, only as of 2010 did this village get electricity facilities. Kampung Danu is home to 56 families with over 300 people.
So this is our friend Desmond's house, and he's been kind enough to let all of us stay. So that is Sarawakian hospitality for you. The more the merrier.
Budayu means inhabitants of the land, and they are the second largest Dayak ethnic group in Sarawak after the Iban. Everyone we met treated us with endless hospitality. They were so nice.
As you can see, there's been a fantastic little turnout from the Kampung Danau. The day before the regatta, or the night before, everybody comes in their best gear. We've got a band, there's gifts to be given away. It's a massive community here, and it only gets stronger when there's an event like this that happens. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm having a fantastic time, so I'm going to start doing some potro potro, I think.
The sun here rises about 5:40 in the morning, so our body clocks were a little confused to see a bright sky at this hour.
Morning fuel. For the road, baby. For the road.
Maybe because Kampung Danu is located in the upper area of Penrissen. That's why it's so cold in the morning. We could see the mist fogging up the hills as we drove out for a mini adventure due to a tiny mistake. But I'll explain that later. For now, we were simply starting to get a little worried as we saw how prepared everyone else was.
Now that beast right there, that is our little raft that we're going to ride in. Now the story is we actually woke up at 6 o'clock because someone put our name down for the 40k run, which is like the extreme side of the rafting. So we opted out for that because we're pussycats really. So they're going to take it back to Kampung Danau, and so there it's only about a 15k little run. Can't wait to get that in the water, serenade it, ceremony, whatever it is. We're going to ride it to the finishing line and hopefully come in a respectable position, not last.
Even though everyone was smiling, I could smell their competitive spirit. These people had their eye on the prize. Now, some even printed their own t-shirts. Made me wonder if I knew what I signed up for.
So we're finally here. It is time for the Padawan rafting safari. Now this is Sungai Kuching Kiri, and it's the 6th competition they've had thus far. So 6 years it's been running, and finally we make our way over here without boundaries. There are tons of participants. There are so many people here. All we can best to do is do our best. We've got fantastic little life jackets on. It looks like so much fun. People are enjoying from all around Malaysia come over here just for this. So wish me luck, and my team of course. We're one man down, we've only got 3 people, so they've got a bit of an advantage. We've got to give them some lag, right?
Okay, we were actually quite lost. We just tried to blend in a little and look like we knew what was going on.
I thought it'd be necessary to get the bomber jacket, as you can see, because we're going to be on fire, I tell you.
Go, 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 go! Alright, the start of the journey begins! How many kilometers? 23! 23 kilometers later!
We were warned that the very first corner was a sharp turn and most rafts tend to topple over. We didn't capsize, but I did fall down. Now, seeing that we were all newbies at this sport, it wasn't too easy to steer and control the raft with 2 bamboo sticks and a paddle. All these rafts are handmade, and usually everyone who joins makes their own raft, and it's very important that they complete it at least 2 weeks before this date, because the raft needs to be left to dry. If not, it won't float too well, and if the knots aren't done properly, well, each bamboo will be floating in its own direction.
Now this is a lot harder than it actually looks. There's a lot of arm strength in it. Your back is twisting all the time, but it's beautiful. You can hear everybody screaming in pain and whatnot, but the scenery is stunning. The rock formations along the river, they've been carved out of thousands of years of this place being here. And right now we're not even pushing. I mean, it's a benefit of having only 3 people because we're a lot lighter than everybody else, so we don't have to put in as much effort. But we're actually waiting for our guys. I hear a motorboat. I hope that's Jeff, our cameraman, because we've lost him. He's got to catch up because we've actually been pretty fast. So I'll keep rowing and hopefully he'll catch up with us.
Well, I think we're providing good enough competition for now, but man, I can feel my arms expiring and we're nowhere near the end. Coming up next, the feared yet respected creatures of the Iban world.
3, 4.
Tiring? Our cameraman decides to join us on his motorboat. And there's us sweating away, pushing down the river. We're actually doing pretty good. We've taken a couple just on that corner there. And it's beautiful. This place is amazing, but it's such hard work. You guys got it easy over there. I gotta keep going.
We observed many teams and damn, do they have good technique. Their motions were in sync. They were counting together. They looked like they were simply gliding along effortlessly. But then again, many of them are already very familiar with the concept of bamboo rafting. So I guess we're doing all right for a bunch of city kids, right?
So we've been going for about nearly 3 hours now. And we're only about 20 minutes away. So we're really close. But this part of the track, or this part of the river, is really tedious because there's no actual current, so you have to do all the work. Instead of going down the river, literally a flat little lake here, we have to paddle even harder. 20 minutes to go, come on.
Now we seem to be slowing down. I don't know if it's due to the heat, due to this continuous paddling, due to our new heavy guy at the back. He's our special weapon, by the way.
Whoever that told us it was another 20 minutes was clearly lying. He was probably one of the organizers who wanted to keep our spirits high. But we paddled for another half an hour and the end was still nowhere near. And I'm not believing anyone else who tells us we're reaching the end until I see it from my own eyes.
As you can see, he's tired already.
Bored, tired. City race. Go home.
A little bit more.
Bidayus are known for making good use of bamboo. They use it in building their longhouses, their handicraft, their cooking, so it's no wonder that they use it as a form of transportation as well. The amount of culture, tradition, heritage and history that's found in Sarawak has always captured my heart and fascinated my mind, which serves as a good reminder to always return to my roots. There is such a vast difference from lifestyle in East Malaysia compared to that in West Malaysia, but both are very unique in its own way. My home is here, and home is where the heart is. And oh my goodness, thank the heavens, we have reached the finish line, oh yes! Ibans have been known to build longhouses along rivers that often have a high density of crocodiles, so even though I've seen quite a number in my lifetime, I would much rather observe them in a safe area instead of carelessly wading around in a river.
Hi! Now I hear there are these huge crocodiles in Sarawak and Sabah, all in the sungais, all in the ulus. Now I need to learn a lot more about it, so I've come here to the best place possible in Kuching to learn about them all, and that's Jong's Crocodile Farm. Look how huge he is!
Jong's Crocodile Farm is one of the largest and the only crocodile breeding farm in Malaysia. Now, despite being in captivity, there are many huge and deep concrete ponds provided, so these crocodiles have natural breeding grounds that are the perfect sanctuary for mating and multiplying. Visitors are able to witness these creatures from close proximity whilst having their safety assured due to the secure metal fences.
Look at that guy! It's huge! Oh my god!
There is an extraordinary connection between the Ibans and the crocodiles. Some believe that crocodiles hold a prominent position and wield immense power in the spiritual world of the Ibans. The most infamous croc in Sarawak would have to be Bujang Senang. It lurked the rivers of Batang Lupa in Sriaman and took the lives of an uncountable amount of people. He was believed to have once been an Iban warrior who was killed and cursed to be a crocodile, so he swore to kill all the descendants of his murderers.
Lunchtime for the crocodiles!
There are about 40 crocodiles in here, and they all are staring at us with these super sharp teeth, these very hungry looking faces on them. And they say never to smile at a crocodile. And what they do, these guys over here, they've been feeding them for so long, they put it out on the string there, and if we're lucky, one of them will jump out and grab them. Now these guys can jump up to about 3 or 4 foot in the air. As you can see, that is pretty amazing.
Seeing how hungry they were, I didn't want to deprive them of food, so I shall feed them some more.
Crocky, crocky, crocky. This one. Very bantam. Oh, there we go.
Crocs always have their jaws open because they release heat through their mouths. Now each crocodile jaw holds 24 razor-like teeth that are built to tear, crush and hold onto flesh. They exert an enormous amount of pressure when closing their jaws, possibly the strongest bite of any animal. Now crocodiles often swallow stones that help grind the food inside their stomachs.
Now, for the ones who are lazy, who don't want to jump up, we've got some chicken feet and chicken wings over here, which are my favorite. So I'm going to grab some of these guys. All right. And see if we can get these guys busy here. Ready? Down there? Whoa! Oh my god!
Hey, crocodile! Hey, crocodile! You want some food? Come get some! You pop chicken!
This farm isn't limited to crocodiles alone. In fact, they have a ton of other exotic species of birds and animals that are only found in Borneo. I could walk freely amongst the big birds whilst checking out the leopard cats, monkeys, sun bears, barking deers, otters, and a whole load of others. It's a really nice setup here, I've got to say. It's clean and the animals don't look too cramped up. And my last stop was the pond where they kept the South American Amazonian tropical freshwater fish.
Now these guys right here are the largest living freshwater fish. They're called arapaimas. Now they grow up to about 5 meters long, and that's nearly as big as me, or pretty much bigger than me. They eat meat, they eat monkeys in the wild, they eat birds, whatever they can get their hands on or their mouths over, that's what they'll eat. And you can see them staring at me right there. They are absolutely huge.
And as with so many of our other shoots, the rain likes to interrupt us. So as it began to downpour, we decided to shoot back home to Bed's guest house. Finally, I'm gonna balik kampung, balik kampung, balik kampung. Traveling back to my hometown, or shall I say a hometown, reminds me that so much time has passed that I'm no longer a kid. Kind of makes me start wondering what I'm doing with my life and how much I've achieved throughout this past 25 years of it. So this little yellow house belongs to my grandparents. A few relatives still stay here as well, but unfortunately not everyone could be around. But seeing them all alive and well, wow, that just melts my heart.
Aki.
The Ibans make up the largest percentage of Sarawak's population and are reputed to be the most formidable headhunters of Borneo. And because we have a history of being pirates and fishermen, the Ibans are also referred to as the Sea Dayaks. My relatives are still very in touch with our traditions and are often involved in the Iban rituals and performances during the Gawai merriments. These costumes are warrior outfits to be worn with much pride. Once I was done looking around, we took a short drive to my longhouse.
My long house. Short house now. Oh, this is the old suspension bridge now. I used to always remember this as a kid because it was like a little gateway into the past. And crossing this river, infested with crocodiles back in the day, but you rarely see any nowadays. Hello! How are you? Right. How are you? Well, still pujang kering, huh? Huh? Still got muscles. Come in, come in. Holy moly. This is completely different to how I remember it. The last time I was here, it was actually, it was just knocked down and they had put some placements down. And but now they've kind of decorated. It looks like a house in here.
It's a little heartbreaking to see so much concrete. If the walls could talk, the previous ones would have told many fascinating tales, and these would have very few.
So this was all our farmland, but it goes back. We've actually got about 60 acres of jungle in the surrounding area, so that was all the family sort of jungle. These are all the fruit trees. We've got oranges, we've got big old, I think there's some mangoes, rambutans, a lot of ubi plants. And this is how they're self-sufficient. All the Iban, they try to grow as much as they can and produce as much local food as possible. And that way they don't have to go into town all the time. And sometimes they have extra, they can sell that off and, you know, get a profit from it. Right, now this is what I used to do as a kid. We used to find some of these fruit trees, try and knock down some of these fruit. This is buah sukut, which is super, super sweet. So let me give this a go. Oh, crap. No luck.
So instead of throwing rocks, we used a pole to knock the fruits down, and unsurprisingly, this method had much of a better success rate. So we went back inside the house to catch up while enjoying the fruits of our labor. And before I headed out again to take a look at the back parts which were not yet torn down.
So this is the old part, which is much nicer, which I love, and it's so much homelier, all the wood, and let's have a quick look in there.
Longhouses were built and designed to represent community. The unpartitioned common hall is called a ruai.
Hello. See, they keep still the old skulls, still from the back in the day. Yeah, pretty creepy.
The tearing down and the rebuilding of this longhouse isn't entirely by choice. Termites have been eating at the wood for years, so by now, many of the parts of the house are rotting away, thus making it unsafe to live in. Now, I dread the day that longhouses become obsolete and would only be built as a form of tourist attraction.
Hello. There you go. This is the tapestry. Cantik, no?
I asked her if she could show me how it's done, and she kindly agreed.
Right, you gotta strap yourself in it. It's a harness. So
she actually straps herself into it, and the tension is kept with the her back piece right here. So that's what's pulling all this thread.
The traditional method of weaving involves planting your own cotton, then dyeing the thread with natural dyes while undergoing a ritual process. These are extremely hardworking, skilled women.
I have no idea how they keep this like. It's so confusing. So each time she threads this black sort of string through, she'll push it down so it kind of knots together. Now, I'd say about a minute to do that, and it's millimeter by millimeter. You can imagine how long it takes to do a whole sort of dress table worth.
I thanked her for showing me the works, and she told me that one of the women outside just weaved a traditional vest, so I followed the noise to a tiny little crowd. And I heard that this little old lady drank too much happy juice, if you know what I mean.
How long did this take for her to make? Ah, it's like a glove. Very beautiful. Look at that. Cantik.
Oh, don't cry! No, don't cry! Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry!
I was told that a house is made of walls and beams, but a home is built with love and dreams. So even though the longhouse will change, I hope their relationships and traditions will remain. Next week on Without Boundaries, I'll be exploring the ins and outs of Kuching before flying off to Mulu to do some serious caving in the world's largest cave passage.